Solihull, and he's got two sons who he's managing as professional boxers. Wally Swift Jr. is quite a rarity. He had 11 O-levels, 3 A-levels, one of them an A grade in maths. He went to Manchester University, but he gave it all up to be a professional boxer. Tonight he was in an even money match, and what a cracker it turns out to be, against Johnny Ashton of Alfreton. It's light middleweight, scheduled for 8 rounds. We're going to have a look now at the best of the action.
For round 1.
So the 11 stone division, this one, and Wally Swift in the blue, the son of a very competent indeed welterweight and middleweight champion. In the corner, Dad Wally. He's won 12 and lost 2 and drawn 1 of his career. And John Ashton from Alfreton, he's got a big support here. And that's the cheers you can hear. They really turn out full force from Alfreton. And scheduled then for 8 rounds. And Swift now boxes out of Solihull, although we always think he's from Nottingham because of his father. And it seems only a couple of weeks ago, but it's a bit more than that, I'm afraid, that I gave Wally Swift the prize, what I thought was the best boxer of the night at the National Association of Boys Clubs Championships. But I must say, on paper, it looks a very lively match indeed. John Ashton made his debut on the Fight Night series at Alfreton, knocking out Steve Yorath in 3 rounds. All the soccer songs indeed, Jim, for a fight of this calibre is very good, isn't he? He certainly brought a fan club with him, Ashton.
Yeah, nice little bit of atmosphere we're having, and the fight itself is shaping up nicely. I don't think we've seen young Wally Swift in a bad fight yet, and it's looking as though this is going to be pretty much typical.
His 2 defeats were by the Londoner Dave Dent from the Terry Lawless camp. And Dave Dent was a top-class amateur, and maybe Wally Senior just put him a little shade too high on that one. Well, he must have done if the verdicts went against him. So, a minute to go then in the opening round. 10 stone 13 Swift, 11 stone Ashton. And the referee, former heavyweight from Birmingham, is Terry O'Connor. Got a good variety of punches, Wally Swift, Jim, as we come up to the end of the first.
Yeah, he throws nice punches. They're just not getting through cleanly on target yet, but we're only in the first round. There's plenty of time. Ashton is quite a good campaigner himself. Good reflexes, he's keeping himself out of trouble.
So there's the Dad there. We're in the white glove as well. That's a towel glove, actually, not as the Americans are doing now. We're in the rubber one. That's merely just to help him wipe the face, stop asking for the towel to be pulled in. And he's had his share of stoppages, the 5 of them, from his 12 wins.
Come shield. Come shield, that's all right. March round that ball, keep it going.
Johnny Ashton then, from the fighting campuses in Alfreton. Just a bit older, 5 years older, in fact, than Swift, but less experienced.
Round 2.
Into the second. And Wally's got very much the style of the old man, actually, Jim. Perhaps not the strength. I mean, he really was a power man, Wally Swift, when he was going at it. But to look at him now at work is similar stance.
Yeah, Yeah, very similar, but Wally Senior was a very smart boxer, wasn't he? So young Wally still got a little bit to learn, but he's only young.
I think probably young Swift is one of the best educated boxers around. He spent a year at Manchester University, and I would have thought would prefer to stay on, but for some reason or other he's got the feel for the pro game as he was born into it and gave it up. All sorts of O-levels and A-levels. Started his boxing career under the name of Wally Reynolds, his mother's name, so that he wouldn't have to be compared with Swift, but I see no reason why he shouldn't box under Dad's correct name. Going to be a bit of a catch-can-crafty looking fight, this too, Jim, isn't it? They're both neat punchers, though.
Yeah, well, Swift is trying to close the range, but Ashton, clever boxer, you know, he's a good idea of the game, keeps himself out of trouble, and he obviously wants to keep this fight at long range. Good concentration, he hasn't really made any mistakes yet, and young Swift is trying to force him into making mistakes.
I shouldn't think either boxer's got much time to listen to the songs, Jim. They've got other things on their mind.
Still, it's all adding to the atmosphere, nice little atmosphere we're having here. And it's been good action all the way too, not too many clinches and plenty of punches thrown.
Turned pro on the fight night, defeating Steve Yorath in the third round on our series, and he's come on quite a bit since then. Like the way Wally Swift kneeled down, gives the boy a few little boxing hits there. If he can do it like Dad now, he'll be okay. So round 5. And Swift a little bit on top then in the 4th round. Fairly close until then, Jim, eh?
Yeah, it's a very close fight. I think maybe now that the pace has slowed down slightly because they've been going at a fair pace. And Swift, in the previous round, he get a better chance to get into punching range, to get the punches going. Maybe Ashton's just not as sharp at getting out of trouble as he was earlier on, so maybe Swift, if he's going to have a chance, now is the time.
Tell you what, they're in good fighting shape, both of them, aren't they? What the old chroniclers would have called fighting fit.
Ashton now, in the early parts of the fight, he was going back, but he looked quite comfortable in going back, but now he seems under a little bit of pressure, a little bit of desperation in Ashton's work now. He's still well in the fight, okay, but he's not looking just as confident going back as he was earlier on.
No, Swift's taking over a bit now. Minute to go. Oh, there's the one that got away, wasn't it? Just as well, and he broke the lights.
See, Swift's very good at just keeping the same facial expression. He must be feeling the pace the same as Ashton is, because he's been doing most of the work. But it's just deadpan, and he just keeps forcing himself forward. Ashton's beginning to look a little bit sorry for himself at times.
Yeah, he's getting a bit untidy now, Ashton. He's looking to hold on a little bit. That's the first signs of tiredness and frustration. Referee's got on with it well, though, Terry O'Connor. He was once in a very mauling fight with a big man called Larry McDonald, and I remember referee John Cole, when he tried to separate him, either sprained or fractured a wrist when he was trying to push these big fellas off him. John Cole, the man who's refereeing Bugner and Bruno next Saturday.
Wally's gone. You know that, don't you?
Got to be more than one punch at a time,
Yeah.
son. There must be more than one punch at a time. Okay, there's got to be 1, 2, and step half a step back and 1, 2 again. Right, come on.
Into the 7th round. And it's been very tightly contested early on. Wally Swift has had a couple of better rounds as the fight progressed. But Ashton's always in there and looking a bit dangerous too. A little bit more work rate, I suspect, from Swift now, don't you?
Yeah, Ashton in the previous round they found a little bit more life, but still been forced back all the time. But here we go again. He still managed to find that little bit of steam to come back at Swift. Very difficult one to score, because although Swift's been doing a lot of work, it took him a few rounds before the punches started landing.
Well, I don't think Swift Senior needs to charge this boy up, Jim. He just does it naturally. He comes out and does his thing, doesn't he? Gets on with it, got a lot of stamina.
Yeah, he always boxes at a good pace and keeps the pace going. As I say, he's not really a big puncher, but he does it on pressure, and he's always in good shape.
Minute to go in the 7th round, scheduled for 8. And the sort of contest where the referees had very little to say, just encouraging on them a bit of it. Man has done his share, of course, and fought some of the better heavyweights in his time. Oh, good action there by Ashton. Oh, and the right hand came in then as the bell's going to go, and they'll need it. Because both of them were rocking a bit with those punches.
Seventh round.
Well, that was a replay there. It's certainly what that they needed to go into a clinch at the end of that, didn't they?
Check 1, 2, 3. Spinning round, you're landing, look, getting son. Come on, son.
Into the 8th and final round of a very hard-fought then light middleweight contest. And Jim, there is not a lot in this, is there? It's got to be close.
It's got to be very close. I had feelings after the first 4 or 5 rounds that Swift would have to dominate the second half of the fight to be sure of the verdict, and he hasn't. He's had a couple of good rounds, but we can't say he's really dominated it. It's been a cracking fight all the way through. So I think that the verdict must really be in the balance.
Some pace they've got a bit untidy, it's true. Mostly Ashton, he kind of claims a little bit, but he's as brave as they come and as willing as anything, and he's met his match there with Swift, who's also doing likewise. I wonder, their first fight was a bit of a cracker, that it was won by Swift on points. So there's 2 minutes to go. And of course, if you're not a boxing addict, then the referee gives a sole verdict here with no judges. That's saved for European, Commonwealth and World Championships. I'm wondering, Jim, if a draw could be on the cards here. What do you think?
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. It's a very difficult one. I don't envy the referee's job here, because it's been a tight one all the way through. Swift has always had the greater work rate. He's always been forcing the pace, but Ashton smothered a lot of his early work, and the punches weren't landing really cleanly on target. It's a very difficult one to score. We'll just, I'm quite happy just to leave it to the referee here. It's a difficult job.
It's under 60 seconds. And you don't blame them trying to pinch a little rest in the last half minute anyway. Well, the referee's got to make an instant decision, of course, because by the end of the 9th round, he's got his plus marks on each side for each boxer. It doesn't take him long to add those up. So now let's see, and he's given it to Ashton. Doesn't please the expression on Wally Swift Senior's face there.